Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. We put this together to really help you understand the process of ordering an engraved lower receiver and exactly what the process is that we go through to make one and ship one, just so we're all on the same page and to help you get exactly what you want. The lower receivers are a permanent choice, so we want to make sure that we all make the right decisions and get exactly what we want the first time, because it's a little hard to redo one of these. So let's dig in and get started. First of all, we have a few options here. You can select the Anderson manufacturing. They're a great manufacturer. We also offer the Spikes Tactical, and when we can get them, the Spikes AR10s. If you already have a lower receiver that you're in possession of, you can send it in and we can engrave that. We have instructions on our website for doing that. Basically, you need to box it up and mail it to us, signature required, with a copy of your driver's license in the package, so we can make sure that we comply with all federal regulations. We are an FFL, so we can deal with firearms. Basically, the only difference here is name and brand recognition here between the Anderson and the Spikes. If you have another brand that you'd like for us to get, we do have accounts with most major distributors, and we can usually get them. Just let us know. As far as the graphic goes, if you're uploading a custom graphic, there is a $30 charge to go through and send it through a graphic designer to make sure that it's going to be good enough quality and really engrave well. Since we are doing a lower, we really want to make sure the graphics are good. Standard graphic, that's going to be things like the US flag, the military insignias, the Spartan helmets, the Don't Tread on Me, all that stuff. That's going to be your standard graphic. We do that no extra charge. And then of course, if you're just sending us text, that's not a problem. We can engrave text in a specific font. If you want, just specify the font. Let us know what font you want in the text, and that's not a big deal. The engraving depth, just to give you a little bit of explanation here, surface engraving basically just bleaches the top layer of anodizing, so you're left with a pretty much completely smooth engraving that is a very high contrast white on the black lowers. So it's not a deep engraving at all. You won't really feel it. Some people don't believe us that it's engraved. It actually is engraved. It's just a very light engraving. We can also deep engraving, which is basically we go over it a whole bunch of times until we do get some depth out of it. And we'll get to some pictures and explanations on that in just a second. So that's basically the difference there. If you're planning on color filling or Cerakoting or any of those other options, you really need to go with the deep engraving here. Cerakote, we do offer some stock colors. We do have a Cerakoter on staff. So if you pick one of those colors, just make sure to specify which color you want it in the order notes. And for the other colors, if you're in a hurry, let us know what colors you want. We don't stock all of Cerakote's colors, and we do have to order colors, depending on what you get, so that may increase the lead time on that. So if you're wanting another color, just maybe give us a heads up and let us know what you're wanting, so we can kind of get an idea of how long it's going to take. The SBR engraving, if you're planning on turning this lower into an SBR, we can do the Form 1 engraving at this time, save you a little bit of money. Just let us know where you want it. We do it under the trigger guard, no problem, assuming it's an open trigger guard lower. We can also do it above the trigger pins and on the magwell. We do it as small as we can. That's legal, but we do far exceed the depth requirement. The depth requirement's really nothing more than a scratch. So we go far and above the depth requirement just to make sure that everything is legal. We can also do a parts kit install. We do keep parts kits on hand, so if you want a lower pretty much ready to go except for the buffer, we can put it all together and ship it to your FFL. If you have any detailed instructions, you can enter that here. That's going to be your colors, specific text, fonts, any specific layouts you want. Go ahead and enter that here. If you're uploading a graphic, go ahead and enter that here. I would ask that you would watch our video on how to choose graphics for engraving. The lowers, you have a pretty good size to engrave, so we can do some pretty detailed images. but we do go into depth on how to pick the best images in that video. And then the rush my order, pretty much if you select rush my order, we push your order to the front of the line. It's basically the next thing we do once it comes in, so they do ship out pretty quickly. Some things you can do on your end to help is contact your local FFL, if we're shipping a new receiver to them, and let them know so they can send us a copy of their FFL, so as soon as we get the lower done we can ship it out. Most of the time the biggest delay we have is waiting for FFLs. That's pretty much about it. I wanted to go through a couple of the different options and the way they look and turn out. So this is a deep engraved lower we did here. We actually Cerakoted this first and then engraved second. So you can see it's an OD green, and then what ends up happening is we got a nice contrast with the white of the engraving, so it really stood out very nicely. This is what happens when you Cerakote first, or if you're just using the anodizing and you deep engrave, this is how it will turn out. This right here is a surface engraving. You can see there's no real depth. You still get a lot of detail, a lot of nice contrast, but there's absolutely no depth. It's just on the surface. You can rub your finger over this and it feels pretty much smooth. This was a deep engraving that was color filled afterwards. So we don't really do a whole lot of this, so it's sort of an exception. But if you're going to be color filling it, let us know and we will make sure that we engrave it pretty deep, so it will make the color filling process a little easier for you. Now this would be an example of a lower that was deep engraved and then Cerakoted. So this is how it looks. You get the factory fresh, everything blends in nice, but you still get the nice depth of the engraving that you can see. So these are more subtle and very classy looking. And here's another example of a deep engraved prior to coating. So we also did NFA markings on this one. So you can see we engraved everything and then we Cerakoted it, so everything blends in, looks like you bought it from the manufacturer, just like this. And then this is another example. This is what we call our enhanced 3D engraving. Everything on this was done with the laser. So we can also engrave in other places on the receiver, as shown here. We did deep engrave the Master Gunnery Sergeant chevron there, and logo on the lower is actually several different layers, processed several different ways to give you that nice almost embroidered look. And then we also put the dates on there. That's our enhanced engraving service there. If you're interested in that, just shoot us an email. We'll let you know kind of the details. It's only suitable to certain graphics, and we usually have to spend a little bit of time with them to make sure that they come out, but when we're done, they sure do stand out and look exceptional. That's about it. All we got time for today. We appreciate your interest, and we're building heirloom quality lowers here, and we really want to make sure that everything is done to your exact specification, exactly what you have in mind. So we really do put a lot of time and effort into these, and we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, so we all know exactly what we're going to get and how everything's going to work out for us. So thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and y'all have a great day.